As the world changes, so do the demands and expectations on individuals. We now live in an increasingly digitized and global environment. So what does this mean for our schools? Well, this means a shift away from the industrialized model, one in which students passively follow directions, are fed facts, and rely on the teacher for the correct answer. In the Briarcliff Manor School District for the past several years, we've been engaged in transforming our classrooms. Through open-ended problem solving and project-based activities, our classrooms can better reflect what students will experience in the real world. We provide students with greater voice, choice, access to resources, and meaningful opportunities to collaborate and solve problems.
So what they're doing is they're creating projects, educating future 8th graders basically about the different topics that they've been learning throughout the first unit. So some are creating Jeopardy boards and games for the 8th graders of next year. Some are creating music videos. Some created raps.
Teaching and learning has changed from when we were an industrial society requiring just productivity and everyone pretty much doing the same type of work, and students being somewhat taught content in rows, teacher up in front, to how now we have changed to needing students that are going to be more creative and prepared for 21st century skills.
There's far too much content for children to learn just content, right? The details and memorizing is not what teaching and learning is about at all in 2017. We have access to information at our fingertips. Anything can be Googled to find out the answer. It has to go beyond the answer to cultivating these thinking dispositions. The jobs that we foresee these students will have will require knowing what to do when they don't know the answer.
It's very clearly a requirement that students are going to be able to work collaboratively, be creative, innovative, be able to discern research, and come up with solutions, and listen to each other, and communicate effectively, and present appropriately what their findings are. This type of instruction is preparing them to be able to feel confident in those skills.
In general, we're looking for ways for students to make connections to themselves through their learning. Now the teacher's no longer the sage on the stage, as we say, but the guide on the side. Very often in classrooms you'll see students working in small groups or working independently in some cases. They're using audiovisual materials on their computers. They're using standard text. They're doing a variety of things. But it frees the teacher up then to sit on the side and to consult with individual students about their work, or to circulate around the room and talk to students about what they understand. And so there's a constant feed of formative assessment data to teachers, which they use to then plan next steps in instruction.
So really this is teacher-led and student-directed, the work that we're doing now, which is a very different model. The whole point is engagement leads to retention.
We usually have a bunch of choices for like games and activities, and we like usually can choose one and then we gotta move on to the other ones. And like everyone's not working on the same thing at the same time.
In our school, what we cultivate is giving kids the competence and then the confidence to really go forward in responding to answers.
I think that it's a good thing because we can all learn sort of at our own pace. So people who like to take their time and try to complete the most stuff can do what they want.
So we're focusing on the process of learning and not on one correct answer. So giving kids multiple ways to solve one problem. So we say that it's better to solve one problem 3 ways than it is to solve 3 problems 1 way.
They have a variety of activities from vocabulary to grammar, different points. They are using different ways to learn this. They're using the online textbook. They're using different platforms in the online where they can practice. They have different games. Everyone is doing different things. They don't need to start from the top. They can start from the bottom or from the middle.
Everyone kind of goes at their own pace, and she gives it a due date, and you're allowed to like work with a partner on some activities and just kind of at your own pace. This is a lot more responsibility.
At the end of class, we stop and we say, let's look at our schedule. Were you able to accomplish what you need to? Do you have to adjust your schedule? So this method allows kids to develop that executive function, those types of skills, time management, organization of materials, that traditional teaching doesn't do.
It was a really good fit for middle school in terms of students' needs to be more independent, the ability to move around the classroom, to have a wide range of learning styles that appeal to them. The technology is infused across the building. Everywhere you go, every student has a laptop. We're really trying to use technology in the ways that make sense in a classroom, that really allow students to interact with materials and concepts in a way that's meaningful to them. Teachers are always looking for concrete ways to link the learning to problem solving, to authentic experiences out in the real world. So for example, in our 7th grade, students were learning about the elements of story, but their product at the end of the unit will be that they've created picture books in which they had to problem solve. What will the size and the shape of the book be? How will the text be presented? How will they create visual images that can appeal to young children? And then their audience will be the kindergarten class down at Todd. There are observable shifts in practice here. I see students engage at a much higher level because they're on one-to-one devices, because they've got choices, because they have a variety of ways in which to access the learning. Students are better engaged. Teachers are beginning to observe anecdotally that when they give the same summative assessment at the end of a unit, they're getting better results than they did when they were teacher in the front teaching the whole class together.
We find that they are actively researching issues, determining the validity of what the content of their researching, and to be able to come up with their own thoughts, their own conclusions, and to be able to discuss it amongst their peers.
As superintendent of schools, I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish thus far, but there's great work to be done. With the gracious support of the Briarcliff Manor Educational Foundation, our PTA, and the Board of Education, we will continue to prepare students for both academic and personal success into the future.